5 minutes. We are making arrangements for the students, and within 5 minutes we will start, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning,
Thank
Dr. Santosh ji. I am Dr. PVVS Murthy.
Good morning.
How are you?
I think I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
That's great.
And Murthy ji, KP Murthy from Karnataka, Bangalore.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Good
That's
afternoon.
great.
Good afternoon.
Ashok.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Your voice is audible now.
Okay, thank you.
It's good. All of you are very prompt and joined the meet at precisely at 12 o'clock. That's a good sign.
Yes.
So, what in the German culture, the top
Yes.
German people come 1 minute before and they don't speak, and exactly on time they say, we are on time, that is German time. They feel proud to say that in every meeting where Germans talk. So we
Me
are all
too.
like, we are all Indians like Germans. Of course, I know Mr. Murthy, Dr. Murthy, PVS Murthy. We check our watches with his punctuality always for the last 4 decades.
Thank you.
And all of you at the same time now. Wonderful meeting you, Kakade Sahab.
Every month we are doing this, Murthy Garu. Every month we
It's a
are
great
doing
initiative, actually.
a national webinar. And again on the 28th, we have National Consumer Day in Tamil Nadu.
Oh, wonderful.
Because for consumers, there are only 2 festivals. One is on 24th of December, and the next one is on March 15th. No other festivals for us. But unfortunately, these 2 dates fall. March is examination favor, and December 24th is the Christmas favor.
So when is the Tamil Nadu date you said?
28th.
Of December.
Yes, in another 5 days' time.
Oh, wonderful. Very nice. So what is the activity of Mr. Ashok?
Ashok ji is State Commission of Maharashtra's former in-charge president,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
he wrote a book, wonderful book, on his visits to all the consumer commissions, because the State Commission has administrative jurisdiction over all the consumer commissions. He visited those commissions and gave his observations.
Oh, wonderful. It's a great movement all of you are leading.
Sir, KP Murthy is a national head for Bosch Power Tools earlier.
Okay.
Now he is peacefully leading his retired life,
But
but still he's
very active. Looks
yes,
very
he is
active.
very active.
Yes.
He is associating himself with many national organizations, and now he is patronizing or preaching
Okay.
sustainable engineering.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Manikyal Garu, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Kirbana madam, shuru.
Yes,
shuru
yes,
karo.
Ashok sir, we can start. Yes, Ashok sir.
Good morning, Dr. CM Rao ji.
Kirbana madam, shuru karo.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. A very good afternoon. And thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Firstly, I would like to welcome you all for today's session, and I would like to take
No,
a
no, sir.
brief.
Ashok sir.
Yes.
Wait.
WhatsApp.
We'll call you.
Ashok, there are some formalities before you
Okay,
introduce
sure,
the chief guest. Okay.
Kirbane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning to you all. Uh, Respected Principal Dr. CM Rao sir, President of today's function. Guest speakers for today's webinar, Dr. Santosh Kakade, former in-charge President of Maharashtra State Commission, and Shri KP Murthy, Strategic Consultant in Skill Development. Vice Principal of our college, Shri Kishan More sir, and IQC Coordinator, Dr. Aparna Kuttapalle, all the members of Consumer Advocacy Group, all my colleagues and dear friends. At the outset, very firstly, I welcome you all in this webinar, Consumer Awareness Webinar, which is organized on the occasion of National Consumer Day by Manikchand Kakade Law College, Aurangabad, in collaboration with Consumer Advocacy Group. Every year, 24th December is celebrated as National Consumer Day. And reason behind celebrating this day as Consumer Day is that Consumer Protection Act 1986 had received President's assent on this day. Now, this law, that is Consumer Protection Act, is considered as a milestone in the history of consumer movement. This act has provided different rights, and this act also has provided the process for what we can say for the purpose of getting reliefs in case if these rights are violated. Now, recently, whatever developments are there in the technology, these recent changes, they have changed the patterns of violation of consumer rights by way of new scams, by way of new techniques, and it has showed that protection of consumer rights is not an easy task. Considering the same recently, this act has been changed in 2019 and old act is replaced by new act. This new act is providing for different kinds of emerging concepts, like there is a provision for mediation, alternate dispute resolution mechanism, a product liability concept is there, e-commerce activities are included in new consumer law. Now, still there are now making of law is not sufficient because still there are so many people who are not aware about different consumer rights and what protection consumers are having under the consumer law. And for that reason, today's day is or 24th December is dedicated for this particular reason, and 24th December is celebrated as the day for the purpose of creating awareness about consumer rights. And with the same objective, today's program is organized. And on behalf of our management, college and staff, I take this opportunity to thank Consumer Advocacy Group for collaborating with us and providing us two eminent speakers for today's event. And I'm sure that both the speakers will give us insights into the Consumer Protection Act with the recent changes. With this, I conclude my introduction and I thank the organizer for giving me opportunity to introduce the event. Thank you all. Over to you, Ashok sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon, and thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Santosh Kakade. So, Dr. Santosh Kakade is a former in-charge president and non-judicial member of the Maharashtra State Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, Mumbai. During his tenure, he conducted inspection visits to all 46 consumer commissions in the state of Maharashtra. Very recently, he has completed a successful tenure of 5 years as a non-judicial member. Dr. Santosh Kakade is a general trauma and orthopedic surgeon with more than 25 years of practical experience in patient care and surgery. This, in fact, brings a unique blend of experience of surgical skills with legal knowledge and the vision to novel technologies that impacts hospital management. Dr. Kakade also held top management positions like CEO and medical director in national reputed hospitals like RST Regional Cancer Hospital, Nagpur, PGS Global Hospital, Bangalore, Ruby Hall Clinic, Pune, amongst many other hospitals. Among his many professional accomplishments, we would like to call out a few below. Dr. Santosh Kakade was the only one to get selected for the prestigious Award of Scholarship 2011 from the American College of Healthcare Executives, Chicago, to attend 3 executive programs in Chicago, San Diego, and Orlando. He had visited 11 hospitals in the US across Washington, New York, Cleveland, Chicago, San Diego, San Francisco, and Orlando between June to October 2011 to observe best practices, quality management, and interacted with various healthcare executives to share his vast knowledge. Finally, Dr. Santosh Kakade was awarded National Fellow Membership of American College of Legal Medicine, Chicago, and was invited as a speaker at the 55th annual meeting in Las Vegas. With this, I welcome Santosh Kakade to address the audience. Thank you, sir.
Yes, so good noon to all of you. So at the outset, let me thank the founder and the man behind the consumer advocacy group, Dr. PVVS Murthy. I was recently introduced to him as a man who is committed to the consumer protection and creating awareness all over the nation by various activities of this group. And when he invited me, I happily accepted this invitation as this is in association with a law college in Aurangabad. So let me thank Dr. Murthy and those right now who are present in this particular webinar, uh, mainly the guest speaker, Dr. KP Murthy, he is from Bangalore. Then the person who has definitely participated wholeheartedly, the principal of the law college, Dr. C.M. Rao sir, the other faculty, and those who are involved in this particular webinar, managing and organizing this particular webinar. I also thank Mr. Ashok for introducing me at length. Now, coming to the basic topic of consumer protection, I'll be very brief in discussing the concept of consumer protection under the new act, that is Consumer Protection Act 2019. Before going ahead, my journey from a surgical branch, that is a medical practice, to the practice in the consumer protection, this journey has been a quite a different one. I got an opportunity to sit on this side as a non-judicial member. Uh, of course, you all are aware that this is the role of a judge, though it is non-judicial member, deciding on day-to-day basis the consumer matters after hearing the arguments of learned advocates. So this was the actually the work which I conducted uh, in the last 5 years. As it was mentioned, I got an opportunity to head this institution or this state commission as an in charge president for around 4 months. And I utilized this opportunity to meet those who are involved in consumer protection day-to-day basis, on day-to-day basis, our own presidents and members of the district commission, then the staff who is working with all the district commissions, the advocates who are practicing in the district commissions, who are the officers of the court and helping the consumers to get the justice in the consumer system. And of course, after completion of this particular uh, visit, or rather visits to all the commissions, I submitted a report to the state government as well as various concerned authorities that what needs to be done for this system so that there can be improved, we can say, uh, justice delivery to the consumers in the state of Maharashtra. And not only it is true, but for all over India, the support is needed. Now, coming to the topic of consumer protection. Being a surgeon, I was always interested to know that when a case is filed against medical professional in a consumer court, those judges who are sitting on this side, the advocates who are actually, we can say, arguing for or representing both the sides, when they don't have a medical knowledge, how they are coming to the conclusion that any doctor is negligent? Due course of time, when I completed my LLB, LLM, then PhD in law, with the topic as law governing medical negligence, and then after this formal legal education, when I got the experience of sitting on this side and deciding the matters of importance, again, not only against the doctors, or not only those who are, we can say in a layman's language, those who are not providing proper services or proper products to the consumers at large. So with this experience, I could come to know that there is a law which definitely protects the consumers. The provisions in the law, they are supported by various decisions taken by the apex courts, that is, we can say, Supreme Court of India, then the national commissions, and specifically Honorable Supreme Court of India, in various matters of consumer importance, have decided and interpreted various provisions of the Consumer Protection Act, and that has guided the lower courts. You all know that it's a doctrine of stare decisis. That is, all the uh, decisions are, or the ratio decidendi which is decided by the Supreme Court of India, is binding on all over the courts. So with this guidance from the Supreme Court of India, the courts are deciding, or the consumer commissions are deciding the matters of consumer importance. Now coming to the today's state of consumer protection. In the state of Maharashtra, of course, after 1986, when this act was enacted, and it was rightly discussed that the Consumer Protection Act 1986 got Honorable President's assent on 24th of December, and this is the day which is being celebrated from 1986 onwards. Now, how is the overall implementation of this act? With the 5 years of experience, I could definitely come to know, as well as I can proudly tell you that fairly well this particular consumer protection has been taken care of, and the consumers at large are definitely getting the justice in the form of justice. Of course, in the consumer system, the justice is always in the form of awarding compensation to the consumers for unfair trade practice or the defective products. But as number of cases filed against the service providers and the product sellers, they are increasing. With the increasing cases, the capacity of the consumer commissions need to be increased. So that is the actually important finding. And capacity means the people who are involved in it. There should be more number of, we can say, the members and the presidents, and the vacancy should be filled, and the infrastructure should be good. So these are certain aspects of still better providing the consumer justice as such. Now, today what I have chosen, since we have, I think, just 20 minutes of time, 5 minutes already over, in the next 15 minutes, I will take an overview and some comparison between the old act and the new act. That is, the act which was of 1986 and the act which was actually implemented on 20th of July 2021. That is the Consumer Protection Act 2019. So I am now sharing a presentation with all of you, and quickly I am taking the overview of this particular act. So I am sharing the file or my presentation with all of you. Yes, sir. So let me know if I'm visible to this presentation is visible to you, all of you.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Is it seen?
Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot. So basically, this presentation was prepared for providing an information of this act to the medical profession, and with the enactment of the Consumer Protection Act 2019, it was a question in the minds of medical professionals, the doctors, whether this act is applicable to the medical profession, and it was erroneously conveyed to all the medical professionals that now the medical profession is not under Consumer Protection Act. Of course, with the series of judgments and mainly the judgment from Honorable Supreme Court of India, it has confirmed that the medical profession is still under the new Consumer Protection Act. Now, so this was applied, this act was applied on 20th of July 2020. Some of the provisions were further applied or came into force on 24th of July 2020. Not 2021, actually, it was an error on my part. So it was in 2020. The old Consumer Protection Act 1996 was repealed, and it is seen or observed that there are major changes in the overall structure of the Consumer Protection Act. Obviously, there was a great anxiety in the minds of the medical professions and whether it was applicable to the medical profession. Coming to the overall structure of this Consumer Protection Act 2019, which is the Act number 35 of 2019, it has 107 sections comparative to 1986 Act, which has 31 sections. So that means there has been a good expansion of the provisions which are available to the consumers. We all know that the Consumer Protection Act is to take care of consumer rights, and we all are aware that the consumers in India have 6 consumer rights which are enforceable under the acts or various acts or under this act. So for taking care of the consumer rights, this act was enacted and implemented in 2020. There are 8 chapters, and these are divided into the first chapter is a preliminary chapter which provides definitions which are being used. Section 2 gives definitions which are being used in the consumer protection. The main important 2 additional this thing, that is the unfair contract, and of course I'm going to talk about that somewhat at length at the end, and the unfair trade practice. So that has been sections 46 and 47. They are quite detailed, discussed under this act. The important aspect is further the chapter 2 provides the concept of Consumer Protection Council. Of course, it was there in 1986, section 3 to 9. Section 9 provides 3-tier system for this. The Consumer Protection Councils at the central level, state level, and district level has a particular structure, and the main function is provide the advice. So it has advisory in nature. There is, of course, to provide a support to the existing consumer protection system. So this is what is the Consumer Protection Councils as such. So this was the provision. A new provision was there, or it is created under the new act, that is the Central Consumer Protection Authority. Sections 10 to 27 take care of the details of the Central Consumer Protection Authorities. It is in short, it is termed as CCPA. It's a new powerful mechanism, the body which has the power to initiate action suo motu. So it has a chief commissioner and the other 2 commissioners. It has investigation wing, and the uh, if CCPA finds any advertisement as a misleading, it can initiate the action suo motu and can direct the investigation wing to investigate the such unfair practice. Under this system or under this authority, district collectors have been given powers to investigate as well as represent as well as file complaints on behalf of groups of consumers. So this is quite important. We can say provision which is available. The central authority is quite powerful, and uh, though there is a provision of appeal against the orders and the decisions of Central Consumer Protection Authority, it has the authority that has, we can say, power to change the scenario of consumer protection in the whole nation. So this is a three-tier system. Sections 28 and Section 28 to Section 73, three-tier system has been again explained at the district commissions at the level of district, every district, previously known as a forum, now it is known as a commission. Then at the state level is the State Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. At the national level, that is apex body in the consumer protection system, that is National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. There is a change in the pecuniary jurisdiction. Now, with the present position is that the district commission can handle the matters which has pecuniary jurisdiction from 0 to 50 lakh rupees, the state commission from 50 lakhs to 2 crores, National Consumer Commission about 2 crores. And another important change which has taken place is that previously it was based on the claim, but now it is based on the consideration paid. And we all are knowing that the consideration is nothing but the amount or the fees which are paid to the service provider. There is some modification in the territorial jurisdiction as well. And in the territorial jurisdiction, who can file the complaint and where it can be filed. So in addition to the present existent jurisdiction, the consumers or the complainants can file the complaint in the commission where that particular complainant resides. So this was a change. Previously, it was territorial jurisdiction was with the districts where the service provider has an office, factory, or whatever shops like that. So now it is becoming somewhat difficult to the service providers to come to that particular territorial jurisdiction. So this is for helping the consumers. Another important provision, which is the complaint is deemed to be admitted after 21 days. This has been an experience in various commissions that the complaints, since there is overwork or because of various reasons, the complaints which are not getting admitted in time. This is particular provision which has available now, that within 21 days, if the complaint is not heard, it is deemed to be admitted. And another important thing is that there is a review power which has been given to all the 3-level commissions, but then the review is limited to the very small aspect of the, we can say, the errors which are of a typographical nature, or a very limited power of review is available to all the commissions. So these are the changes. Now, this is a new introduction. Mediation has been introduced to reduce the pendency. Section 79 to 81 gives the details of the mediation provision which is available. So consumer mediation cells to be established across the country in all the consumer commissions, empanelment of the mediators, and Settlement through the mediation is the basic, we can say, motto behind establishment of this particular thing. Except for the medical negligence matters where death or uh, uh, we can say a gross negligence is there, these cannot be referred to the consumer mediation cell, but otherwise all the other consumer complaints should be initially referred to the consumer mediation cell. So this is what is the important provision. Then product liability, again a new introduction, section 80 to 27, liability of product manufacturer, product service provider, and product seller. So these three different liabilities, they have been defined, and accordingly the provisions are made to fix the liability and then provide relief to the consumers. Section 88 to 93 provide the offenses and the penalties. So penalty for non-compliance of the orders. Now it is a very astonishing thing that a consumer, when he is benefited or when a decision or a judgment is given in his favor, it takes time for him to get the benefit of that. So this is again a quite important aspect of we can say this is an area which must be worked on. So this provision, offenses and penalties, provides the penalty for non-compliance of the orders, misleading advertisement, products if they are sold with adulterant and spurious goods. So these are certain important headings under which the penalty has been provided. Another introduction is duties of e-commerce entities. Uh, Service rules have been defined in 2020, which are applicable to the e-commerce entities. We all are knowing that it is very common now that Amazon.com, everybody knows. Then Google Pay, everybody knows. Then ordering various goods online and then getting that. If there is unfair trade practice, where the consumer should go. So in order to cover that, the e-commerce rules have been actually framed, and this is being implemented. These rules have defined the e-commerce entities' duties and liabilities of marketplace e-commerce entities. So liabilities also have been fixed. Of course, now it is definitely being utilized at all levels of the consumer commissions, and the the e-commerce entities are definitely must remain aware that such kind of responsibility is casted upon them. So what are the important concepts which have changed? I think two more slides to go for completing this presentation. This section 2, subsection 42, implementation of this, interpretation of this, that means though there is a list which is prepared and it is available that these are the services which come under the Consumer Protection Act, this is not limited to this list, and under this the medical profession as well as the other professions, they can be brought under the Consumer Protection Act. As I have already discussed about the territorial jurisdiction, there has been a change. Then one more change which has taken place is that there is a while filing an appeal, 50% of the decretal amount needs to be deposited. And another change is that from filing a appeal against the order passed by District Consumer Commission, previously in the previous act, 30 days was the available time limit, but now it is 45 days. As already I have mentioned that there is a no mediation in medical negligence matters. The new authority called Central Consumer Protection Authority. And one very important, I think I have also used this. There is a power which has been provided to these commissions to declare any contract which has unfair terms. So this is brought under the unfair terms of contract, and then thus the commission can definitely say that these are the unfair terms of contract, and thus can this can prove the unfair trade practice. Of course, e-commerce I have discussed. Definition of service, I'm not going to go into the technical details of this one. The important aspect is that the one which is labeled in the green, this includes but not limited to the provision of facilities in connection with banking, financing, insurance, transport, processing, etc., etc. So that means any kind of service which is even not mentioned in under the definition can be brought under this consumer protection system. Now, this is the last slide which I'm going to talk about. Unfair contract and unfair trade practice elaborately defined under section 2, subsection 46 and subsection 47. As I have already mentioned that the terms of contract, if they are unfair, it can be declared by Consumer Commission as unfair, and this proves the unfair trade practice. And this section helps the Consumer Commissions to further pass order. And there are certain almost in the list under unfair trade practice, there are at least 10 subsections or 10 subpoints which can be elaborately read and discussed and that can be implemented. Now, our last point, my interest was always in the consumer protection of patients and the unfair trade practice which is being followed by medical professionals. Of course, there are pros and cons for this particular system. There is a growth of, or rather growth of 400 to 50% of the cases being filed against doctors and medical professionals. So after the cases, number of cases filed against builders, the medical professionals also facing these consumer cases at large in various consumer commissions. And hence, applicability still of this new Consumer Protection Act 2019 to the law of or to the unfair trade practice and medical negligence of the medical profession is still there. And I think that the Consumer Protection Act has definitely served the purpose in protecting the consumers at large at all level. But as I have already said, that there needs, there are the two things are needed if the consumer protection system needs to be strengthened. So in India, there are two aspects. Number one is the system which is developed under this act needs a strong support by the government. This is the most important fact and truth of today. So the government, if supports in a proper this thing, we can say fashion, and the awareness among the consumers is quite important, who need to be empowered, and this empowerment will only take place if more and more voluntary consumer organizations play their role in this particular field. So with this, let me stop here because I think the time has there is a already I have consumed more than 20-25 minutes. I'm also eager to hear my co-speaker. I'm sure we definitely will get more insights from the co-speaker. I thank Dr. P.V. Murthy, then the Dr. C.N. Rao, who is the principal of this law college. Thank all these organizers and the students if they are there. For the students of the law college, I have a message to them that the consumer protection system, that is a consumer court system, we can say commission system, the new advocates after completion of their legal education must enter, and this is the field, a vast field where they can definitely practice, and I am sure they will be able to not only sustain in the field but will be definitely useful in protecting the rights of the consumers. So with this, let me thank all of you and come to an end of this presentation. I'm thankful to all of you. Yes, please. So, Dr. Murthy sir, it is over to you.
So, Jansi madam, please introduce the guest. Jansi madam, are you there? Jansi madam.
1 minute, 1 minute. I'll try to locate her. ఏంటి నువ్వు లేవు పిలుస్తున్నారు నిన్ను?
సార్ నేను ఉన్నాను సార్. యాక్చువల్లీ నన్ను అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోలేకపోతున్నా. సంబడి హ్యాస్ టు అన్మ్యూట్ మీ.
మాణిక్యాలరావు ఆవిడ ఫోను అన్మ్యూట్ అయి ఉందట. అన్మ్యూట్ చేయాలి, మ్యూట్ చేసేసారు. మాణిక్యాలరావు, yes, are you able to? Yes, to me, no. It is from the phone.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all the members. I'm Jhansi Lakshmi, a member of Consumer Advocacy Group. It's an honor for me to introduce our one of the guest speakers, Sri KP Murthy sir. He's a strategic consultant for skill development and industrial relations. He has his degrees in BE, MPhil in energy, and PG diploma in marketing and sales. Currently, he is a Bosch Alumni Network member and a former senior general manager at Bosch. He is a member of Governing Council at Centurion University. He is a member at Central Board of Department of Technical Education, Government of Karnataka. Sri KP Murthy sir has a vast experience of 44 years in power tools for construction, automotive, and manufacturing, and many other industries. He served in various roles and various departments to various under various governments, some of which are: he's a member of Skill Board Government of Assam, a member Tripura Skill Development Mission. He trained 100 vocational teachers, 225 UNESCO sponsored training. He organized the training for 25 Afghan artisans under CI Skill Initiative of Development. He is a driving government foundations. Our guest is also a founder of Clean Technology and Sustainability Clubs. Our guest is also an innovator. He invented the portable electric sprayer of Lifetime Achievement Award from Say India Foundation. He is also past chairman, Say India Bangalore, past member of the board. With this a little brief intro, I introduce our chief guest. Over to you, sir. Murthy, sir.
Okay. Thank you for your kind words, Jansi. I hope I am audible to all.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes, yes.
PVVS Murthy garu, for this opportunity and for you leading this great consumer activity in our country. And I thank the organizers of the Manikchand Bhade College and all other learned professors and other go speaker and everyone here for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts. Uh, I have been an industry guy for several years, and I am trying to outline sustainability dimension into the role of a consumer who has to be and his role and responsibility towards the environment, towards the society, and towards the economy as such. And whether the consumer is an individual, whether the consumer is an institution or an organization or a consumer group as such, it is more about the practices, the more about attitudes, the more about social responsibility of all of us as consumers, either individual or as an organization or an institution. And then by doing so, what benefits that would accrue to the people who practice, and then how does it benefit the law college, especially by getting into the adding the sustainability dimension under sustainable consumption. So, uh, so that's about it. And then primarily we talk of sustainable consumption. If you look at the simple definition is that looking at the sustainability part in the consumption, what we do, you know. So the consumption, what we do is we consume our own resources, whatever we have. First of all, the natural resources given by God, and what do we and how do we do that is what we are going to discuss. So while looking at this resources, what we are going to consume, so fundamentally we are going to look at the what do you call conserving the resources. Okay, conserving the resources in such a way that we don't over consume and leave nothing for others. Like, we need to look at live and let live, and let our younger generation get the benefit. We don't empty out everything, you know. We need to take care of them. So sustainability is not to deplete our own natural resources for the current and for the future. So resource efficiency, optimal utilization of resources, all the whole thing comes on how do we conserve our resources. Then comes how do we preserve the resources for the future generation. So these are the two issues of conserving and preserving the resources, primarily natural resources and other resources. So when we talk of resources, what are the kind of resources we can talk about? Fundamentally food, and fundamentally water, fundamentally fuel, fundamentally air, fundamentally land, fundamentally energy. So the energy and water, fuel, all that what we are using the resources, mostly they are natural. So supposing when we are using these resources, we spoil the resources, or we harm the resources by depleting them too much, or by uh, creating harm and polluting them, then we are not a good consumer. See, when we take care of our own consumption, we should not affect the consumption of others, not only for the current generation and for the future generation. So we need to look at the role as a to really to define sustainable consumption. We can say sustainable consumption is a mindful consumption, or sustainable consumption is a responsible consumption toward the society, and by doing so we not only we get benefit in the current time and current generation and for the futures. So what do we what are the resources I mentioned? Primarily we talk about the food, we talk about water, we talk about the fuel, we talk about the air, we talk about the land, we talk about the energy. So while we are trying to conserve the resources, while we are trying to consume in a conservative in a conserving manner, we need to make sure that we use it optimally. That means we avoid the waste. All of us know the various parts of waste management. So waste management comes into a key role for every sustainable, responsible, mindful, responsible consumer. So that's where we come into play. I will give you a few examples what I have seen here and there, what I observed from friends. See, a hotel in Telangana, Now they are saying where they supply the food on the table. In a restaurant, you sit there and you take food and you pay the bill. And then if you waste the food, whatever is you have paid for, then you have to pay 100 rupees fine. This is a new thing, a voluntary or a mandatory thing a hotel has put themselves for the customers who come inside. And now today we see in the news that the Prime Minister says that you dial 1098 if you are leaving any food wasting, and that can go to the food for the children in the hostels. They can come and collect. So these are all self-imposed voluntary actions or mandatory actions which you can regulate at your own institution. For example, this is the kind of food. For example, the food that we are wasting in big functions, the amount of food, it is calculated in terms of so much of tons of food. For example, you take water next. In water, when we do the toothbrushing, we open the tap, and then it is generally estimated about 3 to 4 liters of water is wasted unnecessarily without using. That means we are wasting things beyond what we can use, and that is where is the coming of sustainable consumption and respect to the water, which is a natural resource, just like as I said in the case of food. And the same thing is an applicable as an example for fuel. We are all running scooters, we are all running cars, we are all running a lot of things. But at the same time, when we stop at a circle or a what do you call circle in a junction, what happens? We don't switch off the vehicle. So there is an engineering comes into play like a start stop switch. Of course, that is the sustainable engineering side of it. What engineering can do to add to sustainability, what consumption can do towards sustainability is what we are talking about. The goal number 7 of sustainable development goals, which are world well-being goals, which are practiced. We are today talking of COP27. We are talking of next year G20 in the current year. So all this talk about well-being, talk about environment, talk about sustainability, because lack of sustainability measures are leading to COVID, are leading to earthquakes, leading into the rains, leading into the crop losses, several of them. That is all calamities happening. But as responsible people, how can we optimize the resources is very important as a consumer, whether we are an individual or an institution, as an organization or a consumer group. Similarly, if you talk of vehicles, we are running vehicles we are running vehicles. At the same time, we are polluting. So what the engineering vehicle manufacturers do is one thing, and what we are doing one thing. Auto rickshaw fellows are putting kerosene and that letting out the unburnt carbon outside, and this particle matter 2.5, and then carbon dioxide, NOx, sulfur dioxide, all these things get into the lungs, and it's a serious problem. Few millions of people are dying because of pollution. So that is on that. And then land, if you talk the natural resource, what are we are dumping few millions of water bottles. So what can we do about it? We need to use reusable water bottles. We used to take away the plastic as a good consumption, as a good consumer, use the reusable bags. So there are several measures what we can do in practice, what we can have in our mind as an attitude as a good consumer, so that we preserve our own resources. And we are, instead of using the coal power, 95% of the coal power which is our power today, if we switch on to the renewable power, you save from a dirty coal power to clean power. So to what extent can we use as a good consumer renewable power? Can we put a panel and use it? We need to understand all these things in order to be a good sustainable consumer. So the dimension is to be a sustainable consumer for taking care of the resources to go well within the in line with the sustainable development goals of point number 7. From the point of the institution or a law college, the NAC talks about the what the goal number. I think it is 7.16, where you talk of. I congratulate this college for their green audit they have done, which is an energy audit. I've seen that. I read that in the net. That's a wonderful thing. And having a sustainable practice, sustainable education will help the college for getting an international ranking fundamentally. Now, more importantly, today, 1,000 companies in India, it is a mandatory by SEBI that they should do the business responsibility and sustainability reporting from this year onwards, wherein they talk about the ESG reporting, environment, sustainability, and governance. And that's where comes the lawyer's role as an as a what do you call intern or for the jobs, because lawyers are required for the reporting part, so that they take care that the reporting is genuine, legal, and all that. So we have a situation of lawyers to be known about the SEBI regulations. We need the lawyers to know about the BRSR reporting system, and lawyers also need to know global reporting initiative GRI. They need to understand sustainability accounting and sustainability board regulations, and they need to know environment regulations. Though we have regulations of different, already we know that we have Environment Act 1986, Water Act 74, and then Employee Benefit Corruption Act, Governance Act. But all these things, I suggest very strongly to the Manikchand Pahade College and to the respectable learned people in the legal field to have a course on ESG comprising of various laws which are even in different laws to be combined as one open elective or as a compulsory subject, or an activity consumer sustainable consumer club in the where students can participate. And that would though the laws are there with Central Pollution Control Board, EPA, Bharat regulations for pollution, but one need to know and assimilate and then combine them together in such a way that they really are in line to develop a good practice and develop a good outreach activity, and then collaborate with companies for not only for internships and jobs, and get to know and help the companies as well to report, because 1,000 companies, it is essential for them to do this. Ultimately, just as we do zero budgeting, we need to do net zero activity. That means net zero activity, for example, if you take in food, we need to consume food that doesn't require a lot of energy. I mean, this is a very hypothetical case, because food people like they taste, they eat what they want. But waste management in food is very important. So waste management of resources is very important in a sustainable consumption. So my suggestion and recommendation to the Manikchand Pahade College and the organizers and the learned consumer activists and learned judges, whoever are there here, to combine an open elective course on what you call on sustainability in specific relevance to legal side, called what do you call in our engineering industry situation, ESG, environment, society, and governance. So consumption focus, sustainable consumption is what is required, because when we look at this, when a green audit is done by this college, I'm sure they should apply for the UI Green Metric International ranking for this particular college or the university, because there they can get a good score, they can get an international ranking. I am sure Dr. Rao, Manikal Rao ji are listening to this, and this will help their college to get an international ranking of UI Green Metric. And last year, Mangalore University got it where I was speaking. And last year, I'm not talking of the engineering college story here. I am talking the legal colleges, law colleges should pitch in immediately into the sustainability dimension of consumption or sustainable consumption. But the course can be called as a sustainability, the legal side of the sustainability, so that they impress upon in their outreach activities or in their connections, in collaborations, they need to spread this message, so that the legality implementation is done understood by as many people who are practicing. And I thought, especially at a year when COP27 has just happened, at a time when we are getting into what you call G20 this year, and the legal fraternity should pitch in immediately in line with G20 from the sustainability point of view, because sustainability is a language. And today in Europe, if you see, the energy prices have gone up 5 6 times. People are struggling for energy, and that's where we need to look at using, as a good consumer, renewable energy, and then and so on and so forth. I'm not getting into the engineering side of it, and then what engineering guys should do to support sustainable consumption, or to see that they recall, they don't make consumption issues much worse. We need to provide good materials for good consumption, not to sell something that will go as a waste or as a recall or that kind of a situation. And an example to quote is that in Gujarat, the lifestyle for environment is happening. At the end, it is all lifestyle. What we do, my wife tells me, whenever the light is on in the house, you switch off the light, you are not there, and it has become a practice today. Unless water, we don't waste water, we should not waste electricity, and AC when it's not required, we should know when to cut off the AC. As a good consumer, we need to know whatever we use it in a mindful and a responsible way to consume, so that we not only enjoy, but we leave the next generations to enjoy, and so that we are responsible to the society and to the economy as well. A wasted economy is no economy at all. That is why we talk of circular economy, and there are several things what we talk in our sustainable engineering. But in principle, these are a few of my views for the learned audience here, to take them forward. Primarily, I request this law college to get into the international ranking, and to have an outreach activity, not only as a green audit for NAC, also to let others do that, so they take a leadership role. And I thank Dr. PVVS Murthy for this wonderful opportunity he has given me to speak out some of my thoughts on the sustainable consumption. Thank you all. I have finished.
Girbane madam. Girbane madam, are you there?
I hope you all could hear me all right.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insights into our institution, what you observed. So we are waiting for the coordinator to address us. Wait a moment.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightened thoughts. Now I request our principal, Dr. C.M. Rao, sir, for delivering presidential address.
On behalf of the management staff and students of Manikchand Pehada Law College, I thank the guest speakers, Santosh Kakade and P.K. Murthy Garu and PVSS Murthy, and the introducers of the chief guests for a wonderful deliberations on the aspects for the budding lawyers who joined 1 month back. There are around 300 students who are listening us, apart from 38 online.
Wonderful.
There are 300 students who are listening you. And at the same time, these are the budding lawyers who started their career as a lawyer student from 15th of December. This is the first webinar for them. And at the same time, I would like to draw your attention of honorable guests who are joined us. So we are associated with one NGO who is doing some service to the public, Anna Bachao Samiti. So we are giving pamphlets to them, and we are asking them to address our students, don't waste the food, whatever sir said. So every year we are going to ask the particular group members to address our students, and we are also giving pamphlets to spread all over in this region, wherever they go. This is one thing which we are doing. As you rightly pointed out, sustainable development. All the three buildings, one is the college, the other one is the ladies' hostel, the other one is the boys' hostel. All are solar power is going to be arranged. As a result of which we are consuming less consumption of electricity from the electricity board. Earlier it is around 70,000 to 80,000 per month. Now it is reduced to 5,000 because of this.
Excellent.
In the both hostels also same thing. Both hostels also same thing. As per your vision, we are also doing the development of greenery in the college by NSS. There are 300 students who are doing NSS volunteering. We are adopting the village. We are also registered with the government of India, adopting 5 villages with the coordinator. We are also doing this sort of thing. As he pointed out rightly, consumer is the king. Consumer is the king. We also have a subject of consumer laws in the first year of LLB, second semester, attached with TOTS. So all of the students who are doing the law, either 5 years, 3 years, they are having a consumer law as a compulsory curriculum. And also environmentally is a must for every student. Environmentally is also a part of the subject. Apart from that, the university adopted the other curriculums, the BA, BSc, BCom. There is a certificate course on environmental is a must for every student belonging to this particular university. So it means that the students of law, not only the students, but also in this region, they are having the awareness as to the sustainable development. And also, as you rightly put, when you are asking someone to do such a thing, it must start from home. As he rightly pointed out in an illustration, his wife asked to switch off light, and the students, the young generation must learn. When you are not there, when you are not there in the house, you must switch off the light or fan or AC. So these are the things that not to be taught by anyone. It is they who have to learn on their own. And apart from that, when you go to a doctor, and we are observing in this particular area, everybody thinks if a patient dies, that is the negligence of the doctor. Simply commenting in the doctor Santosh Kakade clearly pointed out there may be a negligence very rarely. The doctor is considered to be a doctor is considered to be a god. Whatever there in his hands, he is going to survive the patient. But when we go to the doctor, beyond the control of his particular survival of the patient, he can't do anything. So, as I rightly agree with the particular comment that are made by both the guests, it is the young generation lawyers who take care of this particular profession and do service. Whoever approaches you as a consumer, you are also doing some service to the clients who approaches you. You also may be careful what you are doing to your client who approaches or who knocks your doors for justice. So, on this behalf, I thank the PVS Murthy garu for giving me a wonderful opportunity for deliberation with those two guests who are Santosh Kakade Sahab and PK Murthy. So in future also, we will be in touch with you while environmental law subject is going on. We request PK Murthy sir to deliver a lecture especially for this particular sustainable development. And Santosh Kakade sir also, while you are dealing with the subject of consumer law and the TOTS, medical negligence, we may invite you online to deliver lectures for our students. Thank you one and all for a wonderful opportunity given to us by Mr. PVS Murthy for a wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Krishna
Thank you,
Mohan sir.
Krishna Mohan sir, I request Krishna Mohan sir to propose vote of thanks.
So इसका मूड माइक को ऑफ ओपन करो.
Yes, sir.
Is Krishna Mohan available? In the morning, he said that he had some problem with his SIM.
Otherwise, you yourself or my colleague will say the vote of thanks.
Let the college do it.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Dr. CM Rao garu, was I audible clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent. We will be in touch with you, sir, for future endeavors.
My idea is to say that you should get this industry placements opportunity as interns, all law colleges, for the
Definitely.
ESG that has become mandatory by SEBI this year for
Yes.
1,000 companies in India, and
Nahi,
where
sir.
Yes.
legal people are required.
Yes. Yes. Definitely, I will be in touch with you.
That is the
I will
message
take
I
your.
want to say, uh, because in this consumer activism which Dr. PVS Murthy is leading is a very, very important thing he is doing for the country. So what is important is people in the legal profession to see that these are implemented, in a genuine reporting, that they
Yes.
are doing all this, and a legal fraternity are required as interns in the industry,
Yes.
not only as a
Definitely.
practicing lawyers, but they can get their jobs in industry if they like.
Yes. Yes, sir. So I will take your number and I will be in touch with you, sir, for
Please,
guidance.
please,
Definitely.
Professor.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. At the first, I thank Dr. Santosh Kakade, former president in charge of Maharashtra State Commission, for guiding us all on Consumer Protection Act 2019 and medical profession. Thank you so much, sir. I'm also thankful to Sri KP Murthy, sir, for guiding us all on sustainability role of consumers. I'm thankful to our principal, Dr. CM Rao, sir, for presiding over today's function and giving presidential address. I'm thankful to our vice principal, IQAC coordinator, faculty members, students, and all the staff members for their continuous support. I'm thankful to Dr. PVS Murthy, sir, for giving introduction about consumer advocacy group. I'm thankful to Mr. Ashok Panthan, sir, for giving introduction of the speakers, and K. Jhansi ma'am for introducing guest speaker of today's event. And finally, I'm thankful to all those who have directly or indirectly contributed towards success of this event. Thank you, one and all. With the permission of the chair, I declare that this program has ended. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Murthy garu. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rao
Thank
garu.
you.
Thank you, Murthy garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
KP Murthy garu. Thank you. Kakade
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
Kakade sir will meet once. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot.